today's concepts will be database basics. Okay, this is the beginning thing. We will cover first database, and then data warehouse, and then SQL. Okay, but these will go very fast only, because most of you are already know. Even if you don't know also, we will cover everything. We don't miss anything. So okay, like I said, what is database that we discussed yesterday? Database is collection of data, right? So
Yes.
yeah, so it's collection of data. So earlier, actually, it has originated from Excel sheet. So data that we generally store in rows and columns. But as the data increases, Excel sheet cannot accommodate. So the database came into picture. So those databases are like MySQL, DB2, SQL, like MS SQL. So those things. But those data. But as the day-to-day data is increasing, so even those databases were could not able to accommodate, and the concept of data warehouse came into picture. Okay, so yeah, and the SQL server, even Oracle warehouse, Teradata, Redshift, these are all data warehouses. Okay, so what is warehouse? As I said, it is the place where huge volumes of data is stored. Huge volumes of data is stored. Huge means very big in number. So even gigabytes, even thousands of gigabytes, terabytes, petabytes of data will be stored. Okay. So now we'll start with the database basics. Basic things that you need to know, I will be telling. Okay. When we say database is a collection of data, and data is stored in terms of rows and columns, right? So rows and columns are also known as fields and attributes in the database terminology. Okay. So now, how the data is stored in terms of rows and columns, right? So then I have a table. Table means your data will be there. And then how do you identify each row uniquely in the table? I'm telling you these things because, for example, even Ravi and other people who are not from database background, they need to know these terminology, even MK. So because these you will be using in our day-to-day communication while communicating with customers and business users, or even while communicating with ETL developers. They say that this particular field, or sometimes you will face duplicate values. He says that there is a primary key defined, so we are getting this. I mean, something like that. They will communicate. We need to understand what they are talking. The stakeholders that we are working with, or the partners that we are working with. So here, the primary thing that we are working with databases is primary key. Okay, I will give you every details. I have already documented notes on everything. For now, just listen it and just try to absorb it. Primary key. So, for example, when we have a data in the database and there are millions and billions of records, how do we identify each table or each record in each record in each table? So there should be one column based on which it should be able to uniquely identify. Okay, for example, we have employee table. For example, in our company, we have some 10,000 employees or 1 lakh employees, but our name may be similar or even same, or date of birth may be same, or sometimes even salary may be same, or joining date may be same, but our employee ID will be different. Like that, there will be in one field, at least one field, which is unique in every business area, or any company or anything that you take that you want to store in the database. So primary key means it's a column in a table, okay, which is used to uniquely identify the records. Generally, your entry will start with basics only. Initially, they will ask. Even when I tried with 13 years, okay, I mean, I joined here recently. This is one of the top 3 companies in the world currently. Whatever I'm working, even in that they have asked, okay, like what is primary key and what is foreign key. You try to understand the importance of what I'm teaching here. Don't say that I already know these basics and all. Okay, if you know, that's okay, but this need to be mentioned and you need to be aware of it. So I'm just mentioning. So primary key means it's a column in a table which is used to uniquely identify the record. Bus. Okay, so it's a column. Or you see in a table. Okay, I don't write everything, which is used to uniquely identify the. This is the main thing. You see, we also called row or record. Also, we'll say record. Record means row. Okay, a primary key. It's a column in a table. Sometimes it may not be a single column. It can be a combination of columns. Okay, so it's a column or multiple columns which is used to uniquely identify the record in a table. Okay, then what are its properties? Primary key, PK generally they call. In your communication they will use PK means unique plus not null. So whatever column that we are using as the primary key, it should be unique and it should not be a null value. I mean, that's what it meaning. Okay, so for example, employee ID, it should not be having duplicates, means two employees should not have a same employee ID, and at the same time it should not be a null value. Similarly, you take customer ID or product ID in a product table, customer ID in customer table, okay, or invoice ID in invoice table. You take anything for that particular table, so it will be unique and it should not be a null value. So that is the features of primary key. Okay, I will show you these during the SQL. Can we insert duplicate values in a primary key column? Answer is no. Why? Why? Because primary key means it should be unique and it should not be having null values. So, and even this question I was asked. I have inserted, I have one column C1 as the primary key, and I have inserted 1, 2, 3. Will it accept? Yes. I'm trying to insert again 1, 4, 5. Will it take? Since you're going to insert 1 again, so it will say primary key violation. Okay, or trying to insert duplicate value in a primary key column, like that it will throw. 4 and 5, of course, it will accept because they are not present in the table. And then I want to insert null value into this PK column. Will it accept? No. Why? Because primary key should not be null value. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, and this is the thing in the database. Okay, but when you come to, for example, you take Teradata. In Teradata, the primary key is not there. What happened is, as the data increases, there is a need for I mean, small twist here and there that they call innovation. And in Teradata, there is no primary key, and in Redshift also there is no primary key. Okay, I will tell you what is there. Here there is a different thing called distribution keys. I mean, when we go there, I will tell you how but we should know the functionality of the primary key will be remain same, and it will be taken care with a different term and in a for a different way, because if they use also primary key, we say that it's just copying. So on the name of innovation, they will take care of this in a different way and keeping the performance requirements in mind. Okay, so primary key you are aware of. Next, foreign key. Foreign key, sometimes they call FK. So foreign key means the same thing. I'll tell you. Are you seeing my screen? Okay, yeah, you are seeing. Yeah, foreign key. Foreign, for example, I'll tell you who is a foreigner. We call, right. Sometimes people will be coming. People will be coming to India. We call them foreigners. And of course, even our people go to other countries, they will be called as foreigners. Means a resident of one country, when he moves to or when he go to other country, he will become a foreigner in that country, right? Yeah, who is a foreigner? A citizen or a resident of one country, when he moves to another country, he will become a foreigner for that country. Similarly, foreign key means a primary key of one table. When it's present in another table, it will become a foreign key for the table. For example, I will tell you, we have employee table and it has employee ID, DPT number, and of course e-name and salary, and of course we'll take only those things. And we have department table. Similar department table will have which columns? Definitely it will have department number, D name, and the location. If you observe, for department table, definitely department number will be the unique. So it will be a primary key. For employee table, what will be the some employee ID will be definitely the primary key. Okay. Okay. Now, but why this department number is present in employee table? You see, department number is present in employee table. Okay. Ravi, you're following, right? Ravi and MK.
Yes, Krishna.
Yes, Krishna.
Yeah. Please feel free to stop me, okay, whenever you are not following, because these are all basics and these are like very, very fundamentals which everyone must know. Okay, please stop me. Okay, so yeah. So okay, so employee table, employee ID is the primary key, means it should be unique and it should not be null value. And for department table, and department number is a primary key and we should be unique and we should not be a null value. But now the department number is also present in employee table, you see. Why? Because why? You see why? Because I will tell you. If you just only employee table, what you can do with employee table? How do you know which department he is working, in which location he is working? So to establish relationships between different objects, we call here tables as the objects, okay, or relations. I mean, in relational database terminology, we also will call relations or objects or basically tables. So in order to establish relationships between tables, we have to use one of the column in both the tables, then only we can join them and get the data. Okay, so employee and department tables can be joined based on department number to get the department name and location. Similarly, for example, if we go to any supermarket, then we'll have customer table, and we have product table and all. So customer table is something like employee table. It will have customer ID and customer name. I mean, these details. Okay, and product ID will have product ID, product name, means it will have everything, every product that supermarket has. I mean, supermarket we have so many items like vegetables, fruits, all other home items. Okay, so and customers will have only customer details, customer name and his address, phone number, whatever it is. And how do you know like which customer purchased which product? So they have to actually buy. So customer table will have product ID. Okay, why? Because we have to establish how do you know like which customer is buying which products for that. Okay, and product name, here you see product price also will be there. So if you want to buy like which customer is purchased how much, so if we do join based on these two, customer and product, based on PID, and then we will sum on this price, then we will get customer wise total bill for each customer. Of course, I will tell you everything in detail. No need to scared. Okay, so we'll go in detail about SQL writing. So first, for now, what you have to do is here customer ID is the primary key, and in customer table, and PID is the foreign key. In the PID is the primary key here in product table, but it will become a foreign key in the customer table. Why? Because as I said, a primary key of one table means PID is the primary key in product table. When it present in another table, means it's present in customer table, it became a foreign key for the table. So it will become a foreign key for the table. So a citizen of one country, when he present or when he moves or goes to another country, he will become a foreigner there. Similarly, a primary key of one table, when it's present in another table, it will become a foreign key. Okay, why? Because other table already primary key is there. So if any other primary keys, if they present in this table, they will just become foreign keys only. Okay, for example, product is there, for example, order table is there, order. So order will have order ID, order name. For example, we have Zomato. Okay, we purchased, let's say we have Big Basket. Okay, Big Basket, you know, right? In Bangalore it's famous. So we are ordering, okay, and we'll get one order ID generated, and we'll get some product, something items will deliver, and this order ID is also present in customer table order ID. Why? Because based on that, if they will join customer table with order table based on order ID, so that we will know customer wise orders. You see, customer table joined with product table will get customer wise products and bill, and customer table joined with order table will get customer wise orders, like which customer made what orders. For example, nowadays everything is online order, even dresses or even home items, everything through Amazon and all. So order ID will be there, and he will join with that order ID with customer ID, so that he will finally, what we need, we want customer wise product list and order list and everything. Okay, and bill amount and everything. Sometimes we order 4-5 items. So to and each table will have only its respective details, but we want final report. So final report should have customer details and product details, order details, everything it should have. So for that we need to join the tables. So for joining, we should have a common column. Why should we have a common column? For joining purpose. Joining means relate, to establish a relationship. If there is no common column, we cannot join. I will tell you, like in join concept. Okay, what are different joins and what happens if there is no common column and those details. So for now, when coming with discussing primary key, means it should be unique and not null, and every table should have a one primary key. And foreign key means a primary key of one table, when it's present in another table, it will become a foreign key for the table. Same as a resident of one country, when he present in another country, will become a foreigner for that country. Same thing. And there will be a common column between any two tables. And why that is, means to establish a relationship. Relationship means join. We have to use, we will be using that common column as the for joining purpose. Okay, why should we join? Because by joining only we can establish a relationship and get the final report. I'll tell you why companies are maintaining all this data. Why? Means finally they want to generate reports, right? So based on that only they can make decisions. For example, we have supermarkets, you take even Reliance Mart or Big Bazaar. So they have so many okay stores. If they don't identify like what are the most selling items in which store, or what are the most demanding item in each store, based on that they can plan for their stocks and all. You see, manually we cannot check, right? So for that they are making use of this data and making the business best out of it. That is the reason they are investing the money, and then they are yeah, purchasing the databases, because to get the better profits. Finally it's all a business. Okay, and even banks will also maintain the data. Okay, so customer data, why they maintain from 10 years, 15 years, 20 years data? Because based on that they know like which customer is depositing how much amount, and who are the elite customers of that bank. That's why you see, if you are an elite customer, you will get you will be assigned as some relationship manager from the bank, and they will just promote you different offers they have. I mean, like, so that is to improve their business. And how do you know that? How do they know that you are a right customer? Based on your transactions history, like how you are maintaining your bank transactions from last 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, like that. So that is the reason they maintain this history, so that to use that data to improve future business. Yeah, that we will cover even in OLTP system and OLAP systems and all. Okay, so right now only to this extent. Okay, primary key and foreign key and establishing relationships, and we will be joining. Okay, this is about a database, and of course, how do we establish a relationship means based on the common column. But here there is one more concepts we need to know. Till this here it's clear, right? Then I'll go to the next level.
Yeah,
Just you can.
Krishna, I have a question. So moving to second topic. So like in the part of this training, we can able to generate these reports.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, because
yeah,
it is not mentioned in like our curriculum, right? That's why I'm asking.
yeah. Because yeah, we will be taking care of it as part of SQL writing. We also will do SQL coding and all, right? So how do we join to get the combined report? Report means what? It's just joining multiple tables to get the required data, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So yes, and in fact, in good old days,
Mm-hmm.
we will be writing the joins. But nowadays, you are using just reporting tools. That's all. For example, yeah, I think, yeah, I think, yeah, somebody said, right? I think Vani is working on BI. Yeah. So reporting tools means what? Basically, it writes the SQL on behalf of us. We'll just pull the respective tables into the what is that? Maybe workspace. Okay, and we will establish the relationships. Anyone who has knowledge of BI, they will understand what I'm telling. And we'll mention the what is the joining column, and it will just generate the background query and gets the data. Yeah. So BI developers will actually write these queries. Okay. But if you are using any Tableau or Business Objects Cognos, those tools will generate or the background query and get the data. Yes, we will do that, Swati. We will write
So
all the queries.
so we are using like SSRS reports right now. So
Mhm.
is any like for AWS perspective, is any tool is there which is like supports the Redshift and I can able to generate those reports?
SSRS is a BI tool or BI tool only, right?
Yeah, it's a Microsoft service.
BI tool or it's an ETL tool?
BI tool.
Okay, then definitely you would be able to connect to Redshift as the target, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's all. You will connect to Redshift and you will fetch whatever objects or
Mm-hmm.
tables you want. For example, these three tables are there in Redshift, let's say customer, product, order. And any BI tool, its purpose is it should connect to the data warehouse and it will fetch those required objects. And then you will establish relationships, right, between those tables.
Yep.
Yeah, and then when you put generate report, you will be able to see the query generated. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, same thing. So, but you see, I will tell you here one more beauty thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, especially in real time, we are working with some 10 tables, 15 tables, 20 tables with complex reports. And sometimes the report will become too complex and it will not run. At that time, if you are really good in SQL, you can write your custom query and put it there. Yes or no?
Yep. You're right.
Yeah, that is the reason. If we are good in SQL, in fact, you will become one of the top candidate in your team. In fact, this is one of the common issue in BI projects. Some queries generated by the BI tool, sometimes they will run long. But if you are smart in SQL writing, you can put your own custom query and put there and get your report generated just in 2 minutes. And of course, it will bring you a lot of appreciation from the management and business users. In fact, I did a lot of optimization like that. Okay, I have optimized queries which are running 4 hours, 10 hours into just 2 minutes and 5 minutes. So yeah, for that it will be extremely good in SQL. Extremely good in means it will come with experience, and yeah, it will come with yeah, practice and experience. You should be able to know. I mean, you will know how to write it. Okay, Swati.
Yeah, thank you, Krishna.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so yep. Then this is about databases, and of course in databases the other things like we should design tables. Okay, tables. For example, is employee department, these are all tables, right? So table means it's a rows and columns. As I said, here we have okay, I think yeah, Ravi is one of, again, senior. He is a data analyst. Okay, so tables means actually we will be creating tables, and for that we need data analyst who will be analyzing the source system, and they will provide like what are the different they call entities in the database terminology. While analyzing the source system, what are the entities and what are the attributes? Attributes means columns. So based on that, they will say, okay, for every customer that we are working, at the time of analyzing the source system, they will say, okay, these are the entities. Entities means table. I mean, tables that they're analyzing the source system. For customer, okay, what columns need to be considered? They will decide. They will give all the data for us. Okay, so that is called business requirement analysis, we call. Okay, during the business requirement analysis, the analysts will provide us all the details of all the tables. Okay, entity name. Okay, and what columns it should have, like customer ID, customer name, order ID. For example, you are doing our data analyst is doing this analysis for a supermarket. He will give like for each table what columns will be considered by consultation with the business team or that customer. Okay, customer ID should be there, customer name will be there, order ID will be there, and of course product ID will be there, and what are other, maybe address is required if required, yes, maybe phone number is required if required, yes, and comments, something like that. So it will be there. Okay, yeah, I got your comment, Vani. Yeah, sure. So yeah, so every table and what columns it should have, and also its data types also will be given by the analyst. Okay, I'll tell you what is the importance. For example, a customer, okay, customer ID is there, customer name will be there, order ID will be there, and customer contact number will be there. Okay, and let's say customer contact number is 10 digits, right? For example, if you give integer, and integer if you give, it will take the 10 digits. But if you give, let's say, small int, okay, so that small int means it cannot accommodate the 10-digit number, then you will get the issue. Means while loading the data, it will throw in an error. Okay, so yeah, in fact, these are all the different issues we get in our day-to-day software life. So I will touch you everything. So for that, we need to have very good clarity on what is these tables, and what about the columns and their data types. Data types, very, I mean, seems to be simple concept, but very deep while working with the issues. Customer says, uh, hey, for example, for the sum amount price, right? Total sum, I'm getting my total sum is getting truncated means the, for example, 1093.92, it is getting truncating the 2, or it is rounding off 922 just before figure. But if you round off like that, 90 paise, 10 paise, 80 paise, for a 10 million records or 100 million records, the total price will be different, right? So that kind of queries will be raised by the business users. So how to make sure that your final price will not be truncated? So that all depends on the data types. Okay, so these we will go in detail when we are working with SQL. There are different data types like integer data types, character data types, date data types, and all. Integer data type. Okay, so we'll go them in detail like integer, small int, big int, decimal. Okay, and these decimal some 10 x comma y, generally decimal data type means 10 comma 2 based on how much fraction part you have. And the date data types means date, time, timestamp, those are all. And character data types means character, for example, address, name, these are all can be character data types. So for example, you have address. For address you can give 200, character of 200 or character of 10 or character of 50. If you give character of 10, then it will take only 10 characters of your input, remaining all it will get truncate. So sometimes customer says, hey, I'm getting the address only 10, maybe some one line and it's getting truncated, but I want full address. Then as a BI developer or an ETL developer, what you should do? You should increase the size of that particular column so that it will accept the whole incoming source data of address, full address. So like that. So we also need to know about tables, columns, data types. And we already discussed about relations. Relations means what is their common column based on which it's joined. Okay, so after that there will be a, I said right, relationships. There is a something called data modeling. It is called database design. These are all comes under as part of database design only, even primary key, foreign key. Okay, and what is this data modeling? Data modeling means, I said right now we need to join different tables, but how do you know which table to be joined with which other table, and which table to be joined on based on which column? For example, here you see, if you consider customer table and order table, and it has the, for example, customer table has the PID and customer product table has the PID. So okay, PID I will join because they are the direct columns, right? And the order table has order ID and customer table has order ID. So okay, order ID same column, so I will join. But for example, in in sometimes in different projects it will have a different name. Instead of order ID, it will have for example CID or COID, for example. And who will decide what is the column name? It's all business analyst. And how do we decide business analyst? Based on the customer suggestions only, because they need to work. For example, we are working with the data supermarket customers, whatever they said, business analyst will do like that. If he give this name, he will give okay, I COID. Okay, for order ID means customer order ID, let's say C underscore OID or COID. But we as a software engineer, we joined there, we cannot decide here it's OID is there and here it's COID is there, or because the name is different. So actually we have to see the data, whether it's COID means order ID, then only you will think that okay, you need to join this OID with COID. Why it is OID? Because actually the customer table also it should be COID, but at the time of customer creation they just mentioned it as these are all different flaws while in design. Okay, same general, ideally same column name should be there, but sometimes it's not possible. Okay, so sometimes even they change the column. For example, initially they also have OID, but later on as part of business requirement they rename this column to COID. Then only business analysts will know, okay, order table COID you should join with OID. So these things and will be decided during data modeling. Okay, which table and which column should be joined with what other table and what other column. And during our development phase we actually get this doubt, uh, because, and this is common when there is no same column. Okay, if there is a different column it will be there, like I said here. At that time we have to consult with business analyst team okay, to check what is the respective column which you need to join. Then, okay, if you don't join, what happens is that you don't get the data in your output report. Here I don't call as query, I'll call it as a report, okay? Because final whatever result you get, that's a report. So that's why we will be closely working with the business analysts during our development phase. Okay, so then only if we join correct columns, then only we'll get the data. Otherwise, you don't get the data. If we don't get the data, means definitely you cannot deliver that project because you're not getting the data at all. So these things also we will check during our SQL writing. That's why SQL writing is very important. So in data modeling, of course in data modeling, there are two different things that will come into picture: schemas. So I mean, generally schemas we will use in different ways. They call it as a database. Okay. So in every database, we will be creating different schemas. Schemas means database. Database means, what is a database? Database is a collection of tables. What is a table? Table is a collection of rows. Okay, and like that, multiple tables will be there. That is called a database. So in database, you can have any number of tables. For example, if you are working, I mean, we all know, okay, database can have multiple tables. And yeah, based on this business requirement analysis piece, they will provide like what are the joins that need to be established, and we'll do development like that. And the tables database will have tables. Okay, so yeah, and of course, and in database we also will have users. Why I'm telling you this term? Because in future we also will discuss about users and all, yeah, as part of our SQL writing and administration and all. Because unless I create, for example, your all is there: Rama, Vani, Swati, Ravi, MK, and Saipri, and Chandrasekhar and all. When you are going on to a project, I have to create your user, right? Then only you can query the database. Even to query the database, your user should be there. So we should be creating the users. Okay, of course, for everything there is a syntax, like how to create users, how to grant access, and how to, for example, you are a new user joined in the project. Okay, so you should be having access only to customer table. Okay, for example, I am an employee in my company. Okay, and there is employee table, department table, and all, but I should not be having access to finance data, right? Like salary details and all. So that means we need to restrict their access. So those things will be taken care as part of users, grants, I mean, access management we call. These are, so these all will be there as part of in any database management system. Okay, so management means here administration come into picture. So users, grants, access, revoke, these are all we'll discuss with practical during SQL part. So okay, so once you have users, once you have, okay, databases, tables, and all, then our development will go, and we will deploy them into production. So these are the different things. Okay, then again I said, right, database means it's collection of, I don't say tables, it's a collection of database objects. It's collection of database objects. Okay, now what are those database objects? I mean, this is I'm telling so that you must know. It's a collection of database objects. What are those objects? Objects are not just tables, although tables are the main thing, or most of the things that we work with. Tables, views, okay, tables, views, procedures, triggers, I mean cursors, and stored procedures. Yeah, these are all different database objects. Okay, so yeah, just for your reference I'm just telling, and don't worry, these all you will get as part of the material. So yeah, it's collection of database objects. So when we are working, we just don't work with tables. We'll be working with tables, we'll be working with views, we'll be working with materialized views. Okay, we'll be working with procedures, stored procedures. So all these things will be working. So yeah, in fact, these are all required. I mean, at least terminology you should know. Yeah, when we are working in IT on the database and data warehouse platforms. Okay, so yeah, this is about like what you all need to know about database fundamentals. Okay, database basics on a theory level. Okay, but we will see them on a practical level when we go on to SQL. Okay, schemas will be there. Schemas means database will be there, users will be there, and we'll be granting access and revoking access. And for example, when a new user joins, he says that, hey, I don't have access to customers. Then yeah, these are all common issues. Then you have to grant him access. Or a user has left the company. What you will be doing? You have to revoke his access. Otherwise, it's a security violation. There is a term called SOX audit and all. Means if anyone left the company, should be revoked. His access should be revoked and his user should be dropped. Yeah, like that. So these all things will be taken care by the admins. Somebody said admin. Who is that in our team? Somebody has.
It's me.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So like that in database, even in Teradata, I am also an admin. Okay. And of course, every database will have an admin. So in RedShift also we have admin. So we'll be doing this. So technology may be different, but same things will be there. Okay, database concepts, data warehouse concept, ETL loading, and all. So this is about a database. We will move to data warehouse basics. Are we good? Or any questions?
One quick question, Krishna. So, like you mentioned, how do we insert a fixed length columns into tables? Like when you say phone number, so that should take only 10 numbers. It should not be either 9 or 11 or whatever. So, data should be inserted only when the 10 digits number we are giving. So, how we set that while defining the column?
Okay. You see, it all again depends on it is whether it's a character column or integer column. Okay, so character column, actually integer column based on data type. For example, byte int will have only single digit, and small int will have up to 4 digits, and integer will accept up to 10 digits. Okay, so yeah, but as you said, phone number, if you are giving validation, means only as per your requirement, you are saying that only 10 digit only it should accept, otherwise it should reject. Is it what your requirement, or it
Yeah,
should not take?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, actually, you see, as I said, the databases integer or small int, they will take up to small int up to take 4 digits, and integer up to take 10 digit. But yeah, sometimes we have this kind of requirement. Means if you enter 9 digits, it will say wrong phone number or invalid phone number. Means actually there is another logic need to be written to count the number of digits. Okay,
yeah.
so
What,
yeah, so
what is
that
that?
based on that validation only it will take. It will consider like how many, for example, when we are writing some forms, online forms, it will count the number of characters, right? It will not take more
Yeah,
than that particular, yeah, like that.
yeah, yeah.
Even
Yes.
if you want to limit this, it will have that kind of SQL logic in the background. Then only it will say, okay. For example, when we enter, in fact, in many forms we observe this. When we enter, even when we enter password, right, it will say password should be minimum 8 characters, like that it will
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
how do we,
that logic, yeah.
yeah, like any specific keywords that we use when the database, like, how do we
No,
define that? My question is.
In database, generally at the time of creating tables, we don't have any of that logic. Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, but that we need to write. That's what it is. We need to write a logic. For example, append with zeros or leading
Hmm.
zeros, trailing zeros, for to fill the
Okay.
remaining things.
Okay.
We
So
can
we
put a
should.
default. Yeah.
Okay. So my understanding is, so we cannot define while defining the columns itself. So we should define a custom field to achieve
Yeah.
that functionality, right?
Yeah. Means we need to have additional logic to take care of
Yeah.
that requirement. That's the point,
Yeah. Thank you.
right?
Thank you, Krishna.
Yeah. So that's what actually these whatever we discussed, those will be standards. But within that, we want to make another further customization. So for that, we have to write another further logic. That's what I'm telling, Vani. You got it right?
Yes. Yes, Krishna.
Yeah. So so if you want, in fact, sometimes, for example, if it is cell number, it is 10 digits. If it is landline number, it is sometimes 12 digits or 13 digits, right? It's not that everybody will give cell number.
Yeah, I just took an example.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
for the phone number. So,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
just wanted, yeah, know like whether do we have any set of functionality that we can use while defining the columns itself? So answer is no, right? So that.
I understood. Yeah, these are all called column constraints, or
Mm.
there will, So we need to use another restrictions or write additional logic to take care of this particular use cases. And in
Okay.
fact, as a developers, we will be seeking that if there is a specific requirement like that given
Sir,
by
in
customer.
Oracle we have check constraint. In Oracle we have check constraints. Sir.
Check constraint. Yeah, even other database also we have check constraint. Yeah, in check constraint, we can mention what we can mention. I mean, based on any check constraint or what? Hello.
Creating table while creating the table itself, we can do that, sir. Using check
Okay.
constraint, we can limit that to 10 digits.
Wow. Super. Yeah, like that. You see, when we are doing development only, we will be exploring all these options, right? Based on our requirement and our need. Yeah. Thank you, Ravi. You got it right, Vani?
Yeah. Thanks, Ravi. Thanks, Krishna.
Yeah. So let us have like this interactive session because everyone is working employee, most of you, maybe other than one or two people. Yeah. So that's why there are. So that means we are implementing another check constraint. Yeah, these are all called constraints. Yeah, and we will be checking them. So that will do that particular job of limiting or whatever constraint that need to validate. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So we are moving on to the other thing. Is that fine? Data warehouse basics. Yeah, we'll give the like small introduction about what is this data warehouse basics. Tomorrow we'll go advanced data warehouse things. Okay, data warehouse basics means, as I said, what is data warehouse? As I said, if the database increases on and on, in fact, every day data will keep coming and adding. So, and all the data is stored in one place. So it will become a like big, huge data. As I said, in a shop you will have only a few items, but more items will be there in the godown. Okay. So in case of items, it is called godown. In case of data, it is called warehouse. It is data warehouse. Data warehouse is the place where huge volumes of data is stored. Data warehouse is a place where huge volumes of data is stored. So, okay, that's fine. Okay, data is stored. Then after data is stored, what we are going to do there and how the data is stored, that is the Another question. So that data is stored. There also data is stored in terms of tables only. Okay. Anywhere it may be data. Data warehouse means it's a bigger scale or larger scale of the database. That's all. In database, we'll have maybe up to some gigabytes, hundreds of gigabytes, 500 gigabytes, or maybe 1,000 gigabytes, or something like that. But in data warehouse, there is practically we say no limit, but yeah, practically like thousands of gigabytes, thousands of terabytes, and petabytes or exabytes. So we'll be storing. So when we have such a big tables, here is I use the same term again, table. Here also the data is stored in terms of tables. Okay, but these tables are very big in size. Okay, because the warehouse itself will have more data. Okay, and what is the purpose? What is the purpose of data warehouse? Why the companies storing such a huge data? Why they have a lot of money and they want to use? Or because the purpose is that they want to store so that to analyze the data. Why what they want to do with analyze? So that after analyzing, they can use that result to improve their business and make more money out of it. Okay, so whatever investment they are doing to storing the data and employing maybe some BI engineers and getting some reports, and whatever cost they are investing here, they will make some 10 times 100 times cost out of it. That is the purpose. Whatever data they are storing, and they will buy some BI tools, okay, Tableau or Cognos or business objects or SSRS, whatever it is, and they will analyze. Okay, for example, banking take. Okay, who are the customers who are having very good credit limits? Means based on maybe their salaries or their deposits into their current account or maybe saving account, so that they will send them some promotions for house loan, car loan, and personal loan, like that. And definitely when we take some personal loan or house loan, they will get further profits. Or if we get the car loan, they'll get further profits. Or if we take another credit card, they'll get further profits, like that. So, and if you take about a supermarket, what are the items that are most frequently sold? Okay, year on year. So based on that, they can have more stock of that product. You see, for example, a product is sold most frequently in a day, and if they don't have that stock, it's a loss for the store. So, and because they're maintaining thousands of products, it's not easy to track manually. So they sit in one place and they can see, okay, what all items sold today. Today, for example, one product is sold today, let's say highest, and tomorrow is highest, and like that, 25 days in a month are highest, means definitely they should have a good stock of that product. So, and they can plan for that, like that. So basically, the purpose of data warehouse is for analyzing so that for analyzing it to make improvement of their business. I mean, I'll give you a structured definition, okay, with what you can share to customer or during the interview, okay. But for now, as part of class, I'm just telling you this. Purpose of data warehouse is store the huge volumes of data for the purpose of analyzing, so that we can make decisions out of it. Improvement to make decisions or better decisions out of it. Decisions out of it. So what are these decisions? It is to improve the business only, finally. Okay, so decisions out of it to improve the business. Yeah, finally this is the final thing. Finally, you see how much we are investing, how much we are getting out of it, bus. Okay, and for that we are just putting some investment to store the data and to keep some BI engineers and analyze what's going on, and that's all. and they're investing some 10 rupees, they're getting 100 rupees out of it. Bus. So we are part of that investing of 10 rupees bucket. Okay, the software engineers, business analysts, acquiring the big data warehouses and all. And the profit part, only customers will know. Like, I mean, confidential finance, how much profits they are generating. Every quarterly, they will send some reports, right, to all the employees, how their business is growing quarter on quarter, how much profit they made. That is the outcome of actually this particular thing only. So yeah, so okay then purpose of data warehouse is for analyzing the all the historical data, okay, and to make better decisions out of it to improve their business. Okay, then how do they store the data? Because they are not storing just 1 year, 2 year, they are just storing practically almost all the data. So complete data will be there. Okay, and how they store, for example, LIC is there. LIC, you see, it's not just 1 year, 5 year thing, right? LIC means it's like some 20 years, 30 years policies, almost every policy, and they must store the data. And even in SBI, in banks and all, we'll be opening deposits and all. And you take about home loans. Home loans also is not just 5 year or 10 year. It is also around 20 years, 25 years, 30 years tenure. So they must store all the data. So how they store the data is again in terms of tables, but there is a concept called here actually actual data warehousing starts here, fact tables and dimension tables. Okay, first I will introduce the terms, then I'll go in detail about what each term is all about and how they will be taken care practically. Okay, and you see fact tables and dimension tables, and also there is something called slowly changing dimension tables. About in dimension tables only there is this called SCD, very important thing. This thing, slowly changing dimensions. And of course there are different things like SCD1, SCD type 1, SCD type 2 and SCD type 3. So very important. I mean, till now whatever I said is very important. If you don't answer these things, they will think that you don't have any basics or you are lacking basics. So every detail is important here. So okay, so data is stored in terms of fact tables and dimension tables, and the dimension tables are further categorized like SCDs, slowly changing. They will call interview this, do you know SCD? That's what they will say, and you must say, oh, slowly, yes I know, but you should say yes I know, slowly changing dimensions. Okay, tell me what are those different types, SCD type 1, type 2, type 3, and like that. And they also will ask what is fact table and dimension table. Okay, so yeah, these are all standard and mandatory questions in any of our analytics or database related interviews or data engineering interviews. Fact tables and dimension tables actually, and even before that we said that in data warehousing data is stored and whose data is stored, right? And here also there is called, till now we have discussed database design. Here we call data warehouse design. In data warehouse design, there is something called schemas. In database design, schema means like databases, and in each database tables and all. Here in data warehouse, its design means schemas. These schemas are, can anyone tell what are these schemas? What are these schemas? Anyone has any idea? I mean, if you don't have idea, no problem. They will ask, do you know what is schema? Like that they will ask. Okay, no problem. So these schemas are called star schema and snowflake schema. I'm sure somebody, you must have heard about it. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I know you must. If you're in IT in data field, means you must be hearing these things somewhere during your tenure already. So yeah, so these data warehouse design, you will be working or will be implementing either it is star schema or snowflake schema. I will tell you everything in detail. Okay, what is star schema and what is snowflake schema and those things. And yeah, so how to design them, and then the tables are categorized as fact tables and dimension tables, and how the dimension tables are further categorized. Okay, these things, these are the basic terminology we should know. Okay, now, so fact table. So we'll discuss about the fact table, because before discussing schemas, we should know the tables. Fact table means, um, I'll tell you. Fact means actual measurements. Okay. Fact table means the table which holds the measures. Measures means I will tell you. In fact, yeah, I'm sure Ravani and I think all other BI people are enjoying, because there is also same term called facts and measures in all BI tools. Facts means measures. Measures means numerical values. Numerical values. For example, product price is a value, quantity is a value, right? So some all numerical figures comes under fact tables. For example, you have orders. Number of orders is a fact. Total orders is a fact. Total amount is a fact. Amount. Fact means, I mean, actually, you see, actually I said fact tables and dimension tables. Actually, if you talk about in terms of data, it's fact data. I mean, tables. Fact tables will have fact data, right? And the dimension tables will have dimension data. Yeah. So fact data means measures, measures or numerical values. Okay. So anything, for example, you take any market, any business, it may be like banking or supermarket or anything. It will have finally some figures, right? Like number of orders, number of transactions, or total quantity sold, or total sale for the day, or total orders. So all these totals and averages, sum, these are all comes under fact data. And what is this dimension data? Dimension data means which describes the fact data, which describes the fact data. Yeah, I think we'll keep it here just for you to give some an idea. Can we stop here? And I'm not sure today everyone joined late, because yesterday I was late by some 5 minutes. That's why today you are late. I think now everyone can talk freely. Tomorrow we'll go in detail about what each dimension, and what is measured by dimension data, what is measured by fact data, and how the fact tables will align with dimension tables, and what is this design star schema. This is very important concept, and even with respect to entry also. That's why. Any questions? We have 2 minutes.
No, Krishna, but one thing like that may be quick to ask. So like when a star schema is best to design, and when a snowflake schema is best to design. So that may be like
It's coming. It's coming.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. In fact, I'm very good in defining use cases and best practices. Okay.
Yeah.
So everything will be covered to make you at an expert level and to make you at an architect level. You may be BI architect or DI architect or ETL architect. Everything will be covered with respect to performance use cases at the advanced level. All these things I will be discussing in detail. Yeah, I
Thank
know that is standard question and one must know. Okay. Yeah, I will cover tomorrow. It will come, Vani. Okay. Yeah. Others, Ravi or MK. Yeah, Sai Priya, you are there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Actually, I supposed to ask your introduction, but you are dropped at the time. Tomorrow, okay, you need to tell your introduction to us.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. So if nothing is there, are we good to close? Friends, Rama,
Yep.
Vani, Swati, Ravi, MK, Sai, and Chandrasekhar. Chandrasekhar also need to introduce about himself tomorrow. Okay?
Sure, Krishna.
Yeah. Okay. If you don't have anything, we can drop, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you all. See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.